Hello. So, you may be wondering, why did I add all of you guys here today? So, let me start by saying this. I have been attending this revival mission school called Dunamis for the past 2 weeks. Shout out to them. Amazing what they're doing. And since I've been there, the school is very driven in preaching the gospel and everything. And as I've been attending it, God has been showing things to me and everything, but there's something that I really want to share with you all. I first heard this example from my pastor, my youth pastor, Richard, and at the time it was like, whatever. And then I didn't know that Francis Chan used this example, and I was like, oh, cool, this is a lesson. Like, for these past 2 weeks, I can't get this image out of my head, and I feel like it's something that you guys need to hear as well. So I'm going to share this illustration with you guys. Okay, this is a cord, okay? We know it's a cord, but for today's illustration, it is going to be much more. So let's pretend that this little socket right here is life on Earth, okay? Life on Earth is short. You hear people say it all the time. So now that we know that this is life, imagine the rest of this cord just to be eternity, okay? So eternity is a long time. Despite there being an end to this cord, there is no end to eternity. And the crazy part about it is whatever we do during our lifetime on Earth is going to matter and affect how this is going to look. So what I'm asking you guys today is, are you guys living your life the way you were called to live it? I am also preaching to myself because this was something that's been convicting me, and I don't think I'm living my Christian life to its fullest potential, because what I do here will really matter here, and that also doesn't just apply for you and yourself, it's the impact that you're going to make on others. You have such a short time here to preach the gospel, bring someone to church, tell someone about Jesus, but a lot of the times, if I'm speaking for myself, fear is stopping me. But this is such a small portion, and this part won't even matter when we get to this part. And this was something that has been shaking me, that's been bugging me, that's been in my head, and I can't seem to shake that. That there are so many people living in this lifetime. There are so many people who don't know Jesus. There's so many people who are still sick. There's so many people who need to hear the voice of Jesus, but it's going to take us as Christians to actually go out and say those things to them. It's going to take us to be bold in Jesus to go and do that. And one verse I'm going to quickly share with you guys was another image that was also stuck in my head, and I'm just going to read it to you guys real quick. Hold up. Okay, if you guys want to read the whole thing, it is the parable of the three servants, and it's from Matthew 25 verses 14 to 30. I don't want to make this too long. I don't want you guys to get bored or cut out and not really listen, so I'm just going to give you a summary. Basically, there's three servants. The owner gave one person 5 bags of silver, the second person 2 bags of silver, and the last person 1 bag of silver. And then he left. He went away, and then when he came back, he wanted to see what these three servants did with their investments. Person number 1 multiply their investments. Person number 2 multiply their investments. When it got to person number 3, they hid their investments and they were afraid of messing up what they had, so then he just hid it so he at least still had the money to give back to the servant. And the master was angry at servant number 3 because he didn't take what was given to him and multiplied it. And that's like some of us with our gifts, you know? Like, God has blessed us all with a lot of gifts, whether that be serving, whether it be musically, whether it be just helping people. There's so many gifts. And some of us, we're afraid to do anything with it. We're just afraid. I'm afraid to do things with my gifts. I stop myself a lot of times because of fear. And God, when Jesus came back, the owner came back, when Jesus comes back, do you want him to be like, why didn't you do anything with the gifts that I gave you? That in itself has been echoing my brain. Do I want Jesus to come back and me just say that I was afraid of using what God gave me? God gave you what he gave you for a reason, because he wants to use you. And we just have to be willing and open to let him use us. And I don't know who has to hear this. I know I have to hear it for myself. Y'all keep me accountable because I'm being as raw and as straight to the point as I can get. But God is wanting to use you. God wants his gospel to be advanced, and he wants the kingdom to come to earth. So I don't know how you're gonna take it as you will, but I just had to say that with you guys. So I love you guys. I'm praying for each and every one of you guys, and let's just do it. Let's advance Jesus' kingdom.